You're listening to Storage Nerds Podcast, where we unravel the best-kept secret of the real estate investing world, the storage industry. Join the grassroots guru in self-storage, Stacy Rossetti, in insightful discussions about finding, funding, and running these spaces, allowing you to yield the highest returns possible. Get your foot in the door on self-storage and discover how to properly purchase facilities, negotiate with sellers, and close the deal without worries. Start unpacking that investment wisdom with Stacy right now.
Okay, all right. Well, I appreciate you guys all coming in and listening. And again, I teach every Wednesday for free. So anytime that you need like a pick me up or need to be inspired or whatever, you can hop on. Or really, let me show you guys my my triad. I always talk about this. And this is only live, right? This is a live session. So you have to show up on Wednesdays to hear me teach. Okay. I don't send out recordings or anything like that. Okay, let me see. So, okay, so we have the triad, right? Which is, this is like, we have the Wednesday, this free training. And then we have my course, which is called Super Simple Self-Storage. Okay. And then we have the deal analyzer. Deal analyzer. The 4.0, right, is the newest version that just came out. This is the version where you can run 5 different offers at the same time and look at all different 5 offers. There's the cash offer, a bank, like a bank financing offer. There's also there's ways to do private lending offers, and then there's seller financing offers, all different kinds of like creative deal structures. So if you don't know me, I really, really push creative deal structures, especially right now, right? Especially right now, because the market is nuts. All right. The market is nuts. Like I am seeing it every day. We're putting offers out every week. We're putting offers out, right? Remember, I have 15 virtual assistants that do nothing but put offers out on deals all across the country. The storage market, I know every market in every state pretty much. All right. Because we put offers in almost every state now. And the market is crazy. And the reason why I say the market is crazy is just because there's 2 things. One of them is that your money right now, let's say you have 50,000 or 100,000 or 200 or 300,000, your money is really not buying a lot of property. Because if you're thinking that you have to go to a bank and get a loan, then you're typically going to have to put 25 to 30% down on a property. And your interest rates are going to be anywhere from like 7.5 to 10.5, depending on what type of a loan. This is exactly what I talked about last week. All right, is all of the financing. This is a really, really big topic right now, and it's a really important topic to understand. Unfortunately, right now, your money doesn't buy much if you have to go to a bank, right? Because you have to put so much money down and you have so much interest, right? So this is why we really push seller financing, and we really push creative structure deal. I mean, when I'm talking to owners, I'm like, look, let's come up with a structure that makes you happy and me happy. Because going to the bank is only going to make the bank happy, right? So let's come up with a way to do it. And I'm going to tell you, owners, like if you are this type of a person where you can just go talk to owners and be realistic and say, look, I mean, the truth is like, it sucks out there right now. And I know you want to sell your storage facility. I get it. You know, so like, let's work out a deal. So for instance, like one deal right now we have in Pennsylvania, it's 2 facilities. It's total like 125 doors for the 2 facilities. They're kind of right next to each other in this little tiny town. And the owner wants to sell. He wants to sell. And this is one of my virtual assistants found this deal, and he's calling my virtual assistant and saying like, you know, when are you going to get the offer? When are you going to get the offer? And his price is $850,000 cash or bank financing, or if we want to owner finance, it's $975,000, right? So this is like this is a very, very normal scenario right now, right? All owners are open to, they understand that if you're going to have to go to a bank and get financing, the price for the property is going to have to be lower than if we could sell or finance that property, right? So I want to make sure whether or not you buy my deal analyzer or not, you are putting in, you are not just putting in one offer. If you go to Crexy and you look at a facility and find a facility and talk to the realtor is expecting one offer, and that's it. They present the offer and the owner says no, right? But like if you give them an offer letter where there's 5 different offers, right? Then, I mean, then all of a sudden the owner's mind, the realtor's mind, and the owner's mind just opens up like, wow, this person is like really thinking outside the box on how they can get these deals done. And right now in this market, due to the lending situation, you have to think out the box. So the more creative you are, the better you are. And this is exactly why we created the deal analyzer. All right. So up until last year, like, you know, we would just, you know, as well, we would just put one offer in and maybe offer some owner financing. We really didn't push a lot of it up until the last couple of years. And just in the last couple of years, we just started like, you know, giving all these offers out. And I'm going to tell you, like in the last year, I had 2 facilities that we got owner financed. And they're huge facilities, $2.5 million facilities that we got owner finance. Seller was like, yeah, I'll seller finance. Like, I want this amount of money and I know the bank's not going to lend on this. So let me seller finance it. All right, it's like huge, big facilities. So if you're not running your numbers in 5 different ways and coming up with 5 different offers, you are missing out on opportunity. And I see people out there, you know, saying that the only way that they buy money is through the bank because that's how you can really, you know, you can leverage yourself. But the truth is right now is not the time to be leveraging yourself with banks because interest rates are so high, right? And also another thing with seller financing is that I'm getting between 4 and 6% on all my deals. Like, you know, you can't get 6% anywhere in the market right now. I mean, you're getting 7.5 is a good number right now. And that's for a conventional loan at 30% off. I mean, sorry, 30% down. So that's why I really push the seller financing. And that's why I really, really push my deal analyzer, right? So that you can, and with the deal analyzer, like I have a whole bunch of training videos that go with it to show you how to run the numbers and how to put the numbers in and stuff like this. So you'll be able to just, you start running your numbers and putting offers in on with this deal analyzer immediately. Okay. This course right here is where like I'm holding your hand and kind of giving you like step-by-step process on like acquisitions, marketing, you know, raising money, management, that kind of stuff. Right. So this is why I call this the triad. And make sure that you're also joining my Facebook group, which is it's called Super Simple Self Storage. All right, so make sure you join that as well too. And so as you go through these 3 things and you're starting to get out there and look at deals and put offers in, you can ask the questions because my team and I look at this and we will answer any questions that you guys have. Right, so I'll help and guide you through the Facebook group. Okay, so make sure you're joining that as well. Okay. So, and then somebody asked, what's the difference between the 3.0? So the 3.0, you get the deal analyzer 3.0, you get inside this course, but that doesn't, you cannot run 5 offers. This is the one that you can run 5 offers at the same time. You can put your financing in terms in and stuff like this. This is 1 offer at a time. So this is the one that we used up until like 2020. And then we started, we're actually maybe 2020, 21. Yeah. And then we started, like, I think we launched this in 2022 is when we launched this, but it took us a good year to even put this thing together. My husband created this, okay? So, and then we internally, I mean, we've been, all my virtual assistants used it, all my VAs use it, and everybody who else is out there looking for deals is all using it. I mean, we have like $65 million in offers out right now, and it's all with this deal analyzer. Okay. So, I really, I'm here to guide you and train you. You can ask all your questions here. You can ask your questions here. You have the course to go through, really educate yourself on the whole process, right, from start to finish. And then you have the deal analyzer to put in offers. I mean, I don't know what else I could do to help y'all. Really, I don't know. You know, I have no idea. Okay. So you can get all that at StacyRossetti.com. Okay, StacyRossetti.com. Okay. Now, just a quick reminder too is that the doors to Storage Nerds open on September 3rd. Right, so make sure if you want to get onto the wait list, you can go to storagenerds.com. That's the coaching program where like I hold your hand. I'm like, yes, this is a good deal. Go out there, do this, or whatever. You can talk to me like one-on-one and coaching calls and stuff. Okay. Okay. All right. So since we have so many newbies here, everybody wants to get into storage. I get it. All right. You know, it's kind of like, you know, I love storage. I mean, it's like the best thing that ever happened to me. You know, everybody wants to get into storage, and you know, the hardest part to get into storage in any type of real estate investing niche is just like, okay, what are my first steps? What should I be doing right now? Okay, so I kind of just thought I would just do like the first steps so that I could really guide you, help you get out there, start looking for deals, and just give you some tips and tricks on kind of like what we're doing internally to find all of our deals. Actually, I'm wiring money over today. It's like scary when you have to wire like $1.3 million. You know, it's kind of scary to wire that money over. I'm purchasing a property for $1.4 million. We're wiring the money over today to the attorney, and we're closing on the deal today. So we're closing actually on number 16. This number 16, this thing has been taking me forever to close, ever. You know, but finally we're closing on this deal, and this could be a fantastic deal, but that's what we're closing on today. So we're closing on, I closed on, in the last year, we closed on quite a few deals. Now I'm buying bigger deals right now. Like I'm moving on up. Okay. But the concepts that I'm teaching, even if I talk about a $1 million deal or a $2 million deal or a $3 million deal, the concepts are still the same, right? It changes when you're getting into like, you know, 50,000 square feet, maybe it's bigger players and stuff like this, but the concepts are the same. You can apply everything that I'm saying to a $200,000 deal or a $2 million deal. And my deal analyzer can do that as well for you as well. So don't get afraid because I'm doing bigger deals. I have my first, you know, the first 11 or 12 deals that we bought were less than $1 million. All right. And then the last like 6 that we bought have been over $1 million. All right. We still haven't even gotten past $3 million. All right. So we're not buying super big deals or anything. So what that means is that we're buying deals in secondary and tertiary markets. Right. So you want to keep that in mind. Right. What type of market? You got the primary market. And then you've got the secondary, and you've got tertiary. Right now, notice how small the primary market is. Like for some reason, everybody thinks that they have to own storage in the primary market, yet those markets are really just like major cities, and the market's really not that big. And there's way too much competition, and the prices are too much, and there's too much turnover, right? Because you know, prices are too high for tenants. I mean, right now, you really have to think about what can a tenant afford? And people can't afford $300 a month for storage right now. They just can't. You know, so, you know, turnover in primary markets is really, really high, especially right now. Occupancy is a huge problem throughout the entire country. And when we used to run our numbers at like 92% and higher, we're now running our numbers at like 85%. Like the goal is to get to 85%. If you're at 85 to 90%, you're doing great right now on occupancy because there is so much, you know, storage out there. Now, in the secondary and tertiary markets, notice how big those areas are, right? So there's a bigger area of secondary markets. Like there's a lot of cities that have populations of like let's say 100,000 to, or no, let's say, no, that's not right. So say 25,000 to 100,000. Okay. 25,000 to 100,000. Okay. Population. Okay. And then that's for secondary markets, and tertiary markets is less than 25,000. Okay. So that's what you have to think of. Now think of less than 25,000. There is a lot of land in the country, across the country, where there's a population of 25,000 or less. There's more cities and more towns that have less than 25,000 people than there are in the primary market. So your market span is way bigger in a tertiary market. Right, and your prices are going to be lower, right? Your prices will be cheaper prices there because the cap rates are a little bit higher. Okay, so these two markets right here really kind of like, instead of focusing on, I live in Nashville and I want to invest in maybe a suburb of a Nashville, right, where you have to spend millions of dollars in order to invest. You know, there's nothing wrong with going into little tiny towns in the middle of Tennessee and trying to see if you can find storage. All right. So in fact, the first, 12 facilities that we owned are all in tertiary markets. And then all the ones that we bought in the last year are in secondary markets. And actually, there are what I call sub-secondary and sub-tertiary markets. Sub-secondary and sub-tertiary, right? So sub-tertiary would be like actually maybe even smaller, right? Smaller cities like 5,000 or less. All right, it makes me put these under. I feel like this goes under. Okay, so sub is 5,000 or less. Okay, and then secondary would be like maybe 25,000 to 75,000 or something like this. Okay, so we'll do 25 to 75. Okay. So we actually are really in like one facility that we own is in a secondary market, and the rest are either sub-secondary or tertiary or sub-tertiary. Okay. And so we've worked our way up. So getting started in a tertiary market, there is nothing wrong with this. I just want to make sure everybody knows. And then I wanted to give you guys an idea of kind of what the populations are, right? Secondary markets are not like, what are they called? Not subdivisions, but I'm talking about like, they're not cities that are close to primary markets. A secondary market is like a standalone market. A standalone city that has anywhere from like 25,000 to 100,000. So think about in your town. I saw Texas got a lot of tertiary markets, and there is nothing wrong in buying storage in any of those. And it's expensive in Texas. Even in Texas, it's expensive in a tertiary market. So there's nothing wrong with that. And so just keep in mind where it is. So now, all right, like give me an idea, put into the chat, are you interested in a tertiary market or a secondary market? Or are you still like, no, I want a primary market? Let me know in the chat. Let me know, okay? So I make sure y'all are awake. Now, in terms of prices, right? Prices. Everything that we've bought is like, we bought the most expensive facility we bought was $2.5 million, which is in a secondary market. We bought two $2.5 million properties in secondary markets. Okay, so think about that. And then we bought, now the one that we close on today would be like in a sub-secondary market, is a $1.4 million facility. Okay, and all the other ones like the tertiary are typically like $1 million or less. Okay, so now you think in terms of with the market being where it is, and I only have $50,000. Where are you going to be looking for deals? Put it into the chat. Okay. If I only have $50,000 to buy a facility, I'm only going to be in one market. So I should not be looking in any of the other markets. Does that make sense? If I have 100,000, this is something I talked to my student today. My student has $100,000. We found a facility in Georgia for like $750,000. And she only has $100,000. So she went to the, she's talking to the lenders that I introduced her to, that lend in that area. And guess what? A $750,000, they are going to need $200,000 down. That's like 25% down, right? So, think about if you want to buy something for 750 grand right now, and you don't have $200,000, you ain't buying this thing unless, of course, you could bring a partner in. But the thing is like when you bring partners in, like you got to give up money. And 750 grand, maybe this thing is worth maybe $1 million in the next couple of years. Maybe you could appreciate, and I think it appreciates and you stabilize it. But that means that you're sharing like 200 grand with somebody. You're going to give up 100 grand to partner and stuff. So the question is, do you really want to do that? It's really hard with smaller deals to partner, because the truth is like the cash flow is really hard anyways. You have to give up half of that, whatever it is. And then you're giving up half of what you make on the back end, right? So partnering on smaller deals is kind of hard unless you're okay with giving up a lot of the cash, a lot of your money, okay? And there's nothing wrong with that as well, too. If you got to get your foot in the door, I have a student, like, he's just like, he don't have any money at all. He's like, look, I'll be your boots on the ground person. I'll manage this thing. I'll give up, I'll do for 20%. Like he'll just do whatever, but, to get his foot in the door. But, you have to give up a lot when you're partnering. So so we have this 800,000, like a $750,000 to $800,000 deal. I can't remember how much it was. She's got to come up with $200,000 down. All right. And then she's going to have an interest rate of like 7.5% to 8%. It's like super high. All right. So then they're going to just be breaking even. So there's no like way to even split that money until they stabilize it and, increase the rates and stabilize it, which is going to take anywhere from 18 to 24 months. And then they'll make some money on the back end. When they sell it, maybe 3 or 4 years, they could sell it and make a couple $100,000 and share it. So partners is really, really difficult on really small deals, but you don't want to put that out if you don't want to do it. But if you're okay with giving up money, then you can partner to do bigger deals. But just know that if you have $50,000 right now, then you should, and you don't want to partner, you should only be looking in sub-tertiary areas right now. Okay. Maybe a tertiary market, but most likely you're going to find something in the sub-tertiary market. Okay. If you have $100,000, I talked to my student today and I told her that she has $100,000. That's it. She needs an income producing property. She can really only afford $500,000. And so we need to be looking in tertiary markets in like the Southeast, right? That's really kind of where her market is. And because even at the West Coast, you ain't gonna find nothing for that on the West Coast. It's like super expensive on the West Coast. Even the Northeast is too expensive because this person lives in Maryland, and we were looking in Maryland for her for deals, and she can't afford anything in Maryland and Delaware, nothing at all, nothing north really. And so like we're starting to look now southeast for her in all these states. All right. And we're looking in smaller towns because that's what she can afford. Okay. So Wilson says, are there lenders who are willing to lend on the asset and its cash flow? All commercial lending is asset-based lending. All commercial lending is asset-based lending. And it's all based on your cash flow, right? It's all based on the cash flow. So brings me to the second thing, right? So we talked about this here. But so the market conditions is your biggest concern? One of your biggest concern right now is the market conditions, as in, actually, let me put the market lending conditions. The market lending conditions are your biggest concern right now, okay? And then the second thing that you have to concern yourself with is with occupancy. Okay, so your facility is only worth how much it's actually making, how occupied it is, and how much the tenants are actually paying. Okay, so there is physical occupancy versus economical. Economical? I don't know how to spell that. How do you spell economical? I don't know. Economical, that says economical, okay? So physical versus economic occupancy. Economical, economic. Yeah, it's economic. Okay. So anyway, so this is basically physical means that you are full. I talk to lenders all the time. We have one right now that one of our students is buying, and the owner's like, it's full, we're full, right? But only 69% of the tenants are actually paying, right? Right now, based on the market and the economy, occupancy is a huge problem, right? And we're down. I see on our numbers that we're down with, people that are coming in as tenants and then what they're paying. And we are doing a ridiculous amount of auctions right now. All right. I'm gonna give it to you straight. We're doing a lot of auctions and occupancy is down. Okay. But the truth is like in all real estate, it's all a cycle. You're going to have awesome years and horrible years. Like the last couple of years, we did great last year. We were awesome. And then this year, it's like not so good. It's good, but it's like not so good. And maybe next year, who knows? Is it going to go up or down? We have no idea. All right. Because we don't know what's happening, really. So occupancy is the biggest concern. In fact, we're doing so much marketing and we're trying to come up with different ways to market to get new tenants. And then what we do with our tenants too is like, so we have four or five people that answer the phones for us because we have 2,000 doors. And like the rule is if we have a lead, like if we have an actual tenant calling to get pricing from us, for like, how much is your unit? I need a storage unit. How much is it? The rule is that you need to do whatever it takes to get that tenant into the door. So like we're doing price matching, we're doing 50% discounts, we're doing first month free, we're doing like whatever, in order to get the person in the door, because typically when they come into the door, they'll stay for, at least a while, depending on the location. Now, primary markets, it could be not long, but secondary and tertiary markets, they tend to stay for, a couple of months, 6 months or longer. So that's called the customer lifetime value is what it is, right? So you got to know how long on average in your market somebody is staying, right? Typically, how long do they stay as a tenant? And then how much money you can spend on the marketing because how much money they're going to be bringing in as income. It's called customer lifetime value, right? And so occupancy is like a huge issue right now, that if you as an owner of a facility are not focusing on it, then you are going to lose the game and I'll buy your facility within the next 2 years. All right. And in fact, there are many, many owners. We are talking to a ridiculous amount of owners that have bought facilities in the last 2 years and they want out, because they don't realize how much it takes, how much work it takes to actually run a facility. And especially nowadays, when there's so much competition and, you have to really work. Gone are the days where you can put a sign up and like people will come. If you're not doing Google ads, you don't have a Google business listing. If you're not doing like creative marketing, stuff, like you're just out. You're out. And then also your prices are key, right? So here you've got marketing and you've got prices. This is, as an owner, the two most important things that you should be focusing on right now, right? What are you doing to bring new tenants in? That's why I said, when we get a lead, like our phone people are, we have discount codes that they could just put in. Like, it's like, because the question is like, what are you finding out there? Let us know the prices. Are you finding something cheaper? We'll match that price. In fact, we'll give you 10% less than that price, right? Or, you want to leave, you want to move out. Like, what if we give you the next, month or two free, month, or we give you the next month free, or we give you the next 50% off, or whatever it is. Like, we have, like, the rule is like, you have your codes, you know what you should be doing. Let's try to keep them in the door, or let's do what it takes to keep them in get them in as a tenant. Okay. That's how it is right now. All right. Now, 2 years, like the last 1 or 2 years, like there was so many people needing storage that, like, you didn't have to do that. Like, it was just like, we were just full, it was like, and then we were so full, like we were doing what we call dynamic pricing. And dynamic pricing basically means, like, okay, when you're 80% full, your facility, your unit is this much, or 10 by 10 is this much. When you're at 85%, it's this much, which is a higher. If it's 90% full, it's this much higher price. If it's 95%, it's a higher price. And if we only have 1 unit left, like, you're paying a ridiculous amount of money for that thing, right? So gone are the days of dynamic pricing, right? Now it's like, what do we need to do to keep you in as a tenant is what it is, okay? Because occupancy is so bad, okay? So good. I hope I'm not scaring you off, because the truth is that in storage, investing in self-storage, right now, it's very hard to have cash flow. So if you're looking for cash flow, like, a lot of times the deals you're going to find are not going to be cash flowing now, or maybe within like the next year. Maybe it takes a year to stabilize them or something like this. Right, you might be paying a little bit more than what it's worth, and knowing that you're coming out of pocket. But in the end, the best thing about storage is the appreciation on the back end. I'm going to tell y'all, storage is worth a lot of money, not in the interim on the back end. That's where you build your wealth. That is where you build your wealth. So if you are the type of person you tell me, on a scale from 1 to 10, what risk level are you? Right? Put it into the chat. I'd love to see this. This is one of the questions I ask my students when they come in for an application to get into Storage Nerds. On a scale from 1 to 10, what is your risk level? Put it into the chat so I could see. All right. Okay, 8, 6s, good. Okay, 6, 8, 6. Okay, cool, good. Right now, if you are not like an 8+, then you are going to have a very hard time finding a deal. You have a very, very hard time. Like Alice is 10. I was like, I'm a 10. I said, well, I'm just like, I can't pass up any opportunity. Once you get into this, once you get in, really educate yourself. Alan knows, because Alan's a student, but like, you know that, like, it is not difficult to make money, especially in storage, but are you willing to come out of pocket? Are you willing to push your comfort level? Are you willing to pay more than what the facility is worth if you can make money on the back end? So for instance, I have a student that he did turnkey acquisition. So if you don't know, you can actually hire my team to find you deals. And he is an entrepreneur. He owns like some Marco's pizzas. He has 5 Marco's pizzas. I don't know if he's here. Let me see if he's here. Is he listening? He probably isn't, because he just bought a facility and he's probably running around like a crazy person. But so he owns 5 Marco's pizza. So if you own a Marco's pizza, you're a risk taker, right? There's like a million pizza places out there, right? And and he's been doing this for a long time. He's like, Stacy, I got to get out of the pizza place. Pizza places are just, this is too much now. I can't do it anymore. It's active income. It's not passive income. It's active income. And even selling it on the back end is hard to sell something like that, So like, selling a pizza place, I was like, selling a storage facility would be way easier than selling a pizza place, right? So anyways, so he hired us to find him these facilities, a facility to buy. He's like, I just not get, I'm gonna buy something, I'm gonna slowly build my way out of this. And I said, okay. And so we ended up finding him this portfolio of 3 facilities, and they're all right, like in the same town, tertiary market town. Okay, town maybe not, less than 25,000 people for sure. Okay. And it was like, it happened to be an owner that owned all 3, and he lived like 3 hours away, and he just was not in the mood to be like driving out there. And he has another business, and that was booming, and he's in like the firewood business, and that was like booming. He's like, I don't want to do these storage facilities anymore. So he's like, I'm just going to sell them. And so he was making, for these 3 facilities, it was a total of 200, it's like 3 facilities. Oops. It's like a total of 200 and like 32 doors or something like this. I can't remember how much square feet it is, because like 3 buildings, okay, but it's 230 doors. And so these facilities, he was making $89,000. He made last year in 2022. Now remember, 2022 is a great year. All right, he made $89,000. If you were not making like what you should have been making last year, then you were not managing your facilities properly. And guess what? He told me that. He's like, I ain't managing these properly. Like, I should be making way more money, and I'm just not, So 230 doors, when I think about 230 doors, I'm thinking like $200,000 to $250,000. All right, that's kind of what I'm thinking. All right, it's typically around there. Okay, so let's just say that he's making 200K. He should have been making 200K, but he only made $89,000. So obviously he wasn't managing the property well. Okay, so this is considered, right? This is considered a mismanaged facility. All right, so mismanaged facilities, we know mismanaged facilities, you could not go to a bank and get this finance at all. Like, no bank is going to finance this, right? I mean, well, actually, and so his purchase price is $1.2 million. He was like, look, Stacy, and I almost bought these, but I just passed it on to one of my students because I want my students to be successful. So I just said, just buy these. This is good, because this is a great deal. But I just passed it on to this dude. He called me because he knows me. So he's like, just buy these for me. And I was like, let me see if I can get one of my students to buy. So eventually now this is a very hard sell for most people. Most people would be afraid of this deal. But this deal right here is a typical deal that I am seeing over and over in the industry. And I'm telling you, I know the storage market because we are calling everybody. Okay. So this one, he's making 89,000. All right. So 89,000 to me means like, 800 to 900 grand, something like that. Right. When I think 80,000, 800, 90,000, 900, that's, it's all numbers are, if you're in a really low market with low price per square foot, that's a different number. But this is a very good area. $1 a square foot is where you should be. A little bit, maybe 85, 90 cents a square foot, something. So anyways, he wanted $1.2 million for this deal. And I was like, nobody gonna buy this deal for $1.2 million. No bank is gonna be able to finance this deal. Like, how are we gonna, I was like, you have to seller finance this. Are you open to seller financing this? He was like, yeah, I'll seller finance it. And I was like, okay, great. What's the terms? And so he said 200K down. 6.5% interest, 7-year balloon, amortized over 20 years, 20-year am. Okay, that's the terms. It's super fair terms, honestly. Right now in this industry, it's very fair terms. Okay, and it's not even 20% down. It was I think 15% down. 6.5, 7-year balloon, giving them 7 years to stabilize and then refi out, which is plenty of time to do this. Okay. Would you guys do a deal like this? Would you guys do a deal? This is now. Who's this like? Nikki's like, yeah, I'll do it. Okay, so now the thing is that like, I can't remember. Okay, I can't even remember if it's, can somebody calculate that? We could figure out what the mortgage is. But so essentially what happened is like the cash flow for this deal is that he has to come out of pocket $5,000 every month. So he is making, yeah, that's what it is, $7,000 a month was the mortgage. So he's making total $7,000. So he is going to be able to cover the mortgage with what he's making now, but nothing else. All right. So all the expenses, everything else, he is going to have to come out of pocket on. Okay. So that equals we calculated around $5,000 a month. Okay. And so it's going to take at least a year to 18 months to stabilize this deal. Okay, to get it to the point where he's making money on the deal, it's getting the occupancy is up, and he's going to be working his butt off to do that. All right, because we know occupancy is, now when I say working your butt off, like there's a little bit of work at the facilities, but it's really just like being on top of marketing and prices, right? Marketing prices, a little bit of groundwork, you know, to keep it clean and keep it nice looking and stuff, but really like, how are you getting tenants in the door? Okay. But you could just sit at your house and you could just do it, or you could hire somebody to do it, right? Thank you, Noel, $7,600. So they were making about that much. Perfect. They were making right about that much. Okay, so now we know that he's coming out of pocket for his expenses, which we calculated about $5,000 a month for. Okay, and it's going to take 18 months minimum to stabilize this property, right? So that means he's coming out of pocket $75,000. Let's say until he starts breaking even. Okay, everybody's with me? Anybody lost? Just let me know. All right. And so now the question is, we've got 7 years to stabilize, but you could stabilize this thing easily in 3 to 5 years. Okay. And you could sell this thing in 5 years. Okay. But let's just say it takes anywhere from 5 to 7 years to sell this property. What is he going to be able to sell this for? What is he going to be able to sell this for? 232 doors should be worth, I mean, at $1 a square foot, $2.3 million. And that's when we run the numbers, we're coming up with like a $2 million to $2.3 million valuation on this property. And there's also room to add on the properties. And there's a house that he could rent out. There's other income and stuff that he could do. A lot of opportunity for this deal. Okay. So the valuation of this property is anywhere from $2 million to $2.3 million. If you do not know how to evaluate a property, then you should buy my deal analyzer, because that's what we use to buy this property and run the numbers. So you have that, and I show you how to do that. Okay. So that means that in 5 years, so let's say in 2 years, he stabilized the property or whatever. So he's now making, right, 200 grand a year, you know, minus his expenses, minus his mortgage, right? And he's going to be able to sell this property for $1 million more than what he paid for it. Okay. So the question I always tell my students is, are you okay? Would you be okay with coming out of pocket $75,000 and some work, right, to get the thing going in order to make $1 million in 5 years? And so TJ was like, hell yeah, I'm going to do that, right? Now, I talked to several other students about this deal, and they did not want to do this deal because they were afraid about this coming out of pocket every single month to get the thing stabilized, right? But the thing is they passed up on an amazing deal because of that issue, okay? Because of that. And the truth is most of the deals that I find, and we put in offers after offers after offers, most of the deals that we find are just like this right now. All right. So if you're not getting the owner to owner finance, all right, if you're not asking them how we can make a win-win situation and do some creative deal structuring, you're missing out on an opportunity here. Right. And if you're not willing to, if you don't have a risk level of an 8+, then you're going to be missing out on a lot of opportunities out there. All right. And you're going to miss out on $1 million deal just because you couldn't come up with 75 grand to buy this, to manage this property. And every deal I've done is exactly like this. Every deal I've done. It's like my husband, as like our manager of our properties, is like, Stacy, I got to come up with $5,000 now every single month. I've already come up with all this other money on these damn other properties I just bought. So now our cash flow is negative. A lot of the times we try to buy an income producing property to help with that. Now all of our old properties, obviously make money and they pay for all the new properties, right? But if I have 16 properties that look exactly like this, my appreciation on the back end, my wealth on the back end, that is what we're working for. And the cash flow always works out. It always works out. Now, ask my husband, he's like, I need more. He's always like, I need more money, but that is how it's working right now. So if you don't have a high risk level, you should not be looking in storage right now. All right. You should be finding another place where you can put your money. That's less riskier. But this is how it's looking. Okay, all right, good. That is my session for today. Let me see. I have, what's your opinion on smart locks? We do smart locks on one of our facilities. We do all kinds of stuff, honestly. So we try it all out, and there's pluses and minuses of every single one. So just pick whichever one you like. It'll be just fine. And auctions online, in person, we do all of our auctions online. We have 2,000 doors from Tennessee to Orlando. From Clarksville to Orlando. So we're all over the place. So we can't be, and actually we do all of our auctions on every couple of months. We do this auctions on the same day. So like we have 100 auctions right now in 16 different facilities happening in September. And there's no way we'd ever be able to be at all of those. You know what I'm saying? So like we just do them online. Okay. When you say out of pocket, what do you mean from the facility? Do you mean from your own personal income? When I say out of pocket, that's coming out of your own personal income. He is going to have to come up with $5,000, and it's not coming from the facility because all he's making right now is $7,600 a month, and that is enough to pay the mortgage, and that's it. But there's other expenses. So he's going to have to come out of pocket every single month on his personal income to pay for that facility. Do you ever state the terms? Yes. If you get my deal analyzer, the terms are all on the deal analyzer. When we do the deal analyzer creates the offer letter, and the offer letter states the terms. Yes. We do a whole bunch of different scenarios, and we say, look, you can just come up with your own scenario if you want. Like these are just a couple of ideas. Like we're open to anything. Give us your feedback. Is it riskier than the stock market? I mean, everything is risky if you want to make money. What is your risk level? Right? That's the question you should be asking. Everything's risky right now, especially. Okay. High interest rates are risky. I never paid an interest rate lower than in 12 years, I'm typically like 8 to 10%. So for me right now, this is like normal. Like this is not scary to me at all because I've been paying 10% interest for the last 12 years. Okay. Now, if you've only ever paid 3%, I can see how risky it is. But the truth is you can make money in 10% interest just as long as you buy at the right price, right? And you understand the deal. Okay. James, no, I do not do, these are only live recordings. All right, that's it. So you got to show up and listen. Okay. All right. I do not send out recordings. Everyone's asking, no recordings, no recordings. I'm all over the place, so you can listen to me whenever you want. And then, or you You got the core, you got the free trainings, you got the course, you got the deal analyzer, and you've got the Facebook group. And you got YouTube, you got everything. I'm all over the place. Okay. Or you can join Storage Nerds. Go to storagenerds.com, and that's the coaching where I hold your hand and guide you. All right. Okay. All right. Yes, I do offer the deal analyzer separately, stacyrossetti.com. Okay, get the deal analyzer. I'm going to tell you. Call owners and practice putting offers in, or go onto Crexy, run the numbers on the deal analyzer and put offers in. That is what you should be doing right now. The offer letter will give 5 different ways for you to, put offers in. Okay. All right. I appreciate you guys hopping on. I'll see you next week. Take care.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Storage Nerds. Hope this informative conversation inspired you to go out there and jump into this highly profitable business venture that people rarely talk about. Get more tips on storage space investing at www.stacyrossetti.com. Don't forget to subscribe to the show and leave a rating. Together, let's build that thriving passive income one storage space at a time. Until next time.